Hello YouTube, hope you guys are doing great. Welcome to my video tutorial series on Google Ad Manager. So today we'll be having a battle between two giants. We'll be battling Google Ad Exchange on one side and Google AdSense. So they'll be coming in one-on-one together, and I'll help you decide which of these networks is better suited for you. So whether it is Google AdSense, that is Google's entry-level contextual advertising product, or it is Google Ad Exchange, that is Google's real-time bidding product. I'll explain firstly what Ad Exchange and AdSense really are, and this will help you make the right choice for your network. So you must have seen already a lot of video tutorials that give you theoretical knowledge, and they advise you that Google Ad Exchange is better suited for you. However, Google AdSense also might be the right choice for you. So I'll help you decide which is better suited for your needs. Now we'll start by understanding the brief history about these systems, followed by what these systems really are. We'll be covering important topics such as their approval process, CPM versus RPM, their revenue shares, payment terms, and much more. Also, in the end, I will be conducting an A and B experiment between AdSense and Ad Exchange, and that will help you decide which of these networks is performing well for you. So we'll conduct a fair A and B experiment wherein we will split the inventory 50% with both of these networks and give them fair chance to compete, and at the end of the experiment you'll come to know which of these networks is better suited for you. Simple trial and error works. However, I recommend learning before experimenting because it enables or it empowers you to make the right decision and conduct the right experiments so that your revenue is maximized. With that said, let's jump into the video. Now let's understand the brief history about these. Now AdSense was launched way back in around 18th June 2003, and it is much older than Ad Exchange. Now 7 years after the existence of AdSense and after analyzing the limitations of AdSense and its contextual advertising based system, Ad Exchange was launched. Now, how did it come into picture? So OpenRTB actually launched a pilot project between three companies, that was DataXU, MediaMath, and Turn, and there were three SSPs as well, so AdMeld, PubMatic, and Rubicon. So these three companies on the sell side and three companies on the buy side came into existence to launch OpenRTB. Now at this particular moment, a company called as DoubleClick was also there, and it started working on RTB and it created an Ad Exchange. Now Google realized that it was far behind the scenes, and there's something that is called an RTB that is coming into the picture, and it will be huge. So Google saw this as an opportunity and didn't wanted its other competitors to actually take a lead. So Google, for a whooping $3.1 billion, acquired DoubleClick, and that's how its journey started with Google Ad Exchange. Let's now understand how AdSense and Ad Exchange really works, starting with Google AdSense. Now AdSense operates on contextual targeting basis, means it serves ads based on the content, and in very simple way, in 3 steps, you make your ad spaces available on your website, the highest paying ad appears on your site, and you get paid. Now let's unlayer all this and understand how the ads are really serving. So always remember guys, with AdSense, content is the king. Now when you're reading an article about cooking, the word that this article is talking about is cooking, and ad matches the content. With contextual advertising, ads appear alongside the content and are related to the content you're viewing. So in this example, you'll only see cooking related ads. Also, it's all about relevance. So idea about contextual advertising is to make sure that you are seeing the ads that you are really interested in. Now, how contextual advertising is ensuring that? If you are into a sports website, you are most likely to buy a Nike shoe. So this is the simple analogy that they are applying, because you are at a certain place, you are most likely to be interested in that particular product. Now for the advertisers as well, it is quite easier, because as they're ensured that if you are navigating a particular website that's related to sports, for instance, you are again most likely to buy their shoe. So it all matches their content on the website and the advertiser's product, and then users see the product that they most likely are to engage in. Also, here privacy matters. Now what do we mean by that? With AdSense, as it is content based targeting, not user based targeting, any of the users' private information like their cookies isn't stored. Now, so with systems like AdSense, your privacy remains, and with third-party cookie deprecation coming along the way, AdSense revenues are likely to remain stable even after the third-party cookie deprecates. So yeah, this is how AdSense really works. Now we'll understand Ad Exchange. If you want to think of Ad Exchange, you can think of a stock market. In stock market, real-time bidding of stocks happens, and stocks are bought and sold in real time. Similarly, in Ad Exchange, real-time bidding of ads happens and ads are sold within milliseconds. Now what happens? It's a step-by-step process, and I'll brief you down. So an ad request comes to Ad Exchange, and it contains all the user related information. Then the Ad Exchange auction happens. Ad Exchange request is sent to Ad Exchange, which acts as a marketplace for buying and selling of ads. Now all the bidders participate in this auction, and they are sent all the user related information in the form of bid request. So they are passed all the user related information, also they are passed with the context of the page, and this is passed in the form of a bid request to all the buyers. Now within real-time bidding, all the buyers will analyze the bid requests and will share their bid responses. Now bid responses will actually contain the ad and the price that they are willing to pay for that ad. And lastly, the exchange gets all the information from all the buyers, and it chooses the best ad, and it's based on two criteria. First, you must have guessed it already, it's the price, but second, it's also the relevance. So both price and the relevance that is there in the contextual advertising as well is getting considered, and the best paying ad is getting selected. So this is how Ad Exchange really works. Ad Exchange also contains user information, so it is not that much privacy safe as that of contextual advertising. AdSense don't know a lot about users. If the content is adding any value to you and you have learned something new, please don't miss to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will keep on posting such content for you. Determining the best option for you. So there might be publishers for whom AdSense outperforms Ad Exchange, but majority of the publishers, for them Ad Exchange will pay you the more. Now let me tell you why. Because all the points we have discussed above, they are inclining towards Ad Exchange, and Ad Exchange is clearly most powerful, but in certain cases AdSense might be better. It is specifically in terms of like in certain tier 3 countries, and in terms of sites whose CTR is pretty good. Remember guys, AdSense pays primarily on your clicks. So if your CTR is pretty good, we should have AdSense for you. Now Also, you can do a mixed setup wherein for the ad slots wherein your CTR is high, I definitively recommend that you turn AdSense on them. And how do we find for a particular ad slot that whether AdSense or Ad Exchange is better? We will now jump into the GAM UI and perform an A and B test, and at the end of this test you'll be rest assured aware of which of these networks is better suited for you. So as I mentioned in the start, we'll find the choice that works better for you. Now we are back on our computer screens, and the goal for this is to perform an A and B test for this ad unit in the top right corner. By the end of this test, you'll come to know whether AdSense or Ad Exchange performs better for you. So we'll get started with enabling AdSense followed by Ad Exchange, and then I'll show you how do you pull reports for both AdSense and Ad Exchange on a particular ad unit and compare their revenues. With that said, let's jump into the GAM UI and get started with creating ad units. Now we have to simply find the ad unit name firstly, so we should be aware. So if you're aware of the ad unit name, you can simply select that particular ad unit. However, if you aren't aware of the name, you can apply Google Publisher Console by appending Google FC Google FC to the URL, and you'll come to know the ad unit name. Now I am actually copying this ad unit and finding it. So this is the ad unit, so we have that particular ad unit. Now simply go to settings and click on maximize revenue with unsold inventory. Now this is how easy it is to enable AdSense. Now AdSense is enabled for you, and we have to enable Ad Exchange now. Now it's quite possible that Ad Exchange is already enabled for your entire network, so you do not need to perform this test, and you can skip this section and review the section wherein I'm actually pulling the reports. But for you guys who don't have an Ad Exchange order created, I'll quickly show you how do we do that. So I'll just create an Ad Exchange order, A and B testing, March 2024. Apologies for the typos. We'll select in the advertiser. Okay, proceed towards adding the line item. Now in here we are focusing on display, so it will be display. Selecting in all sizes, choosing Ad Exchange. So you'll see this option only if you have your managed Ad Exchange account or your own Ad Exchange account. Now selecting in all requested sizes, choosing a start time and end time, and in the end, one of the most important things is to find that particular ad unit. Now for us it was this particular ad unit, so I am just finding it here. Now I'm not seeing it, so I'm undoing the size filter so that I find this particular ad unit, and I select it. I simply click on save and I approve the order. I'm not approving it right now, but you have to do it, and you have to ensure that the status of this line item is in ready status. Also guys, remember that you should have ads.txt entries correctly updated for both Ad Exchange and AdSense, otherwise you'll not see either of them serving. Now you've actually set up them, and you have set up both Ad Exchange and AdSense. How do you pull reports for them? To pull reports, simply go to reporting, reports, and go to new report. Now filter in the ad unit. Okay, we have found that particular ad unit. Now you can perform a day wise test. Okay, so you can select in date, and in here you can select Ad Exchange impressions, revenue, and eCPM. Similarly, you can select AdSense impressions, revenue, eCPM. So with this test, you'll be able to come to know whether AdSense or Ad Exchange, which is the most ideal network for you. And always remember guys, if you have enabled both AdSense and Ad Exchange for your inventory, either one of them is selected. So AdSense and Ad Exchange don't compete with each other based on price. It's simply random, like Google will split the inventory almost 50% amongst this. So it's very important for you to ensure. So if you're trying to compete AdSense with Ad Exchange, it is impossible. Now let's go over the process of approval of both AdSense and Ad Exchange. Now AdSense is the Google starter level product, so it's easier to get approved with Google AdSense. So what you really need is good quality content, and your website ideally should be 3 to 6 months old. And if you have anywhere between even like 25 to 30 pages or decent amount of content, you have a fairly good chance of getting approved with Google AdSense. Now guys, if you do not have original content, you're recycling content and you're not taking care of copyrights, you might not get approved with AdSense. Also remember guys, I see a lot of publishers just hurrying to get AdSense approval. Please take your time and build your content and then go in for approval, because if you don't have content in place, where will your ads really serve? And if you don't build in the page views, you won't really get paid a lot. So take some time, build in content, get ranked, build your page views, get approved with AdSense, and it should be fairly easy provided you have original content. Now Google Ad Exchange. Now Google Ad Exchange approval again contains like 3 levels as a publisher. Firstly is getting approved with Ad Exchange via MCM, and it contains 2, in whether it's an MI or an MA account. Now MI account is relatively easier to get approved, and it depends upon reseller to reseller. So now some resellers who have automated their processes might give you Ad Exchange MI account with fewer page views, but majority of them will have a threshold of around 50K page views. That is something we also have. So getting approved for Ad Exchange MI account, you should have anywhere between 50K page views at least, and it will make your job easier to get approved with Google Ad Exchange. Now you might get approved with lesser page views as well, but guys remember, if you are actually having very less page views, and then the difference that really makes between AdSense and Ad Exchange won't be that much. So you shouldn't just hurry for just getting Ad Exchange when you have not built the quality of audiences on your website. Now you are getting more page views and you want Ad Exchange MA account. So for Ad Exchange MA account, various resellers again have various thresholds, and some also are asking for upfront money. So I'll not cover those criterias. For our publishers, we have set a criteria for around like 5K USD dollars. So if you are making anywhere between 5K USD, we are ready to provide you with a Google Ad Exchange MA account. Now lastly, coming to your own Ad Exchange account, to get that, it is actually a very difficult process, and it's an it's an invite based system. So Google should actually invite you, then only you can get approved with Google Ad Exchange, or you should know someone at Google. So this is fairly complicated, and very few publishers, you can say to 2 to 3% of the publishers overall have their own Ad Exchange account. Rest have their approvals via MA or MI. Now comparing revenue shares from AdSense and Ad Exchange. So for AdSense, you pay a revenue share of 32% of your earnings to Google directly, and this is a lot, but you similarly pay a certain percentage to Ad Exchange. So now if you have your own Ad Exchange, you're paying a fixed revenue share of 20% for open auction and around 10% for private marketplace and preferred deals. Now if you add in a reseller to this and you have an MA or an MI account, so 20% goes to Google, and in addition these resellers will charge you anywhere between like 10 to 20%. So overall it is like 20% plus a range of 10 to 20% revenue share. So this combined goes to Google. With AdSense, as it's Google controlled mainly, it's a direct 32% that Google charges, wherein with Ad Exchange 20% is fixed, rest all depends upon the deal that you have with your reseller. Now in terms of payment terms, now Ad Exchange pays you in form of CPM, so it's primarily based on the impressions. AdSense pays you mainly on a combination of three factors, that's your clicks, impressions and viewability, but it is majorly click driven. So if you have a website wherein your CTR is above 1% or 2% and it's doing extremely good, it is most likely that you will make more money with AdSense than Ad Exchange. Also, the actual payment schedule is exactly the same for both of these products. So it is nearly net 25 to 30. So after the end of the current month, you will get paid in the next 25 to 30 days. So you get fairly paid along the same time for both of these products. Can we run AdSense and Ad Exchange together? Of course we can. And today I'll recommend you a setup that I personally use for most of my publishers. Now with AdSense, I usually prefer enabling auto ads and not the interstitial and the sticky banner, the auto ads except these special formats. So why do I prefer auto ads from AdSense? Because with Ad Exchange you have to manually place ads at the positions you find best, but with auto ads in AdSense it has a feature wherein it can detect empty spaces in your site and place the best paying ad. Now you can simply enable it and it will ensure that your revenues are being maximized. For Ad Exchange, you simply serve them using your ad units and you define a structure and you serve them on the rest of the ad slots. So it is like Ad Exchange on all the ad slots and enabling auto ads for special dynamic insertion of ad slots at certain positions. You're not able to insert it via serving AdSense is very easy. There's a generic script that you get and you can implement it in your site's header, and you implement the ads.txt entries and you are all set. So setup wise, AdSense is much easier. Now coming to Ad Exchange, its setup varies and I've already covered this in my previous video tutorial, so I'll request you to have a look in the video tutorial wherein for the MCM, wherein I'm covering the setup of MA and MI account. So very briefly, with Ad Exchange MI account, you set up your ads.txt entries and you implement the code that is shared by the parent publishers to you, and that is all that you need. So MI is quite simpler. If you have an MA or your own Ad Exchange account, so everything is in your control. So basically you have to create your ad units, create your Ad Exchange line item. Also you have to do all the optimization, so you have to configure your pricing rules. There might be resellers helping you with it, but if they are not working on it, you should work on your pricing rules. Now again, I have another video tutorial about pricing rules and you should be able to find it in my playlist on GAM. So if you haven't watched that video, guys, I surely recommend that you watch that, because it's fairly important for you to get your pricing right. It can mean a revenue difference of anywhere between 10 to 50%. So having pricing rules can lead an uplift up to 50% for you. So it's fairly important to have your pricing rules. Now fairly understanding the setup, we can easily say AdSense is easier to set up, Ad Exchange is little bit difficult, but with Ad Exchange you get a lot of more control over the targeting capabilities, wherein AdSense is quite simpler.